Hey, 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 hey. Hey, hello, 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 hello. Are you there? My name is Renzo, and I'm gonna sing for you today. You can sing with me, where there you are. The song says, well, hi friends from Spirit Conference 2021. This is the music time, right? So, this song says, I wanna love you and treat you right. I wanna love you just every day and every night. We'll be together with a roof right over our heads. We'll share the shelter of my single bed. We'll share the same room. For Yah provides the bread. Is this love, is this love, is this love, is this love that I'm feeling? Is this love, is this love, is this love, is this love that I'm feeling? Oh, oh, oh. I wanna know now. I got to know now. I'm waiting unable. So try my cards on your table. Yeah. I wanna love you. I wanna love and treat you. Love and treat you right. I wanna love you. Just every day and every night. We'll be together. With a roof right over our heads, we'll share the shelter of my single bed. Is this love? Is this love? Is this love that I'm feeling? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love that I'm feeling? Ooh,
There you go. We are back. Thank you very much. Now, during this Spirit Con, did you know that you have a chance to get a free session voucher? Woo, hold on, worth 7,000 pesos from one of our amazing international presenters today. And the mechanics are simple. You just have to answer the question, para saan ka babangon? Mhm. Please put please put the hashtag Rise as One or hashtag SpiritCon 2021 in your posts. Okay, what will you get up for? That's the question in English. And the most meaningful and the most creative answer will win this prize of again 7,000 pesos. Right. So you may start to post now, and we will be selecting the answers, or the not the answers, but the winner rather later on. Okay.
Para sa pagmamahal.
Bumabangon ako sa umaga para maglingkod sa ibang tao, sa pamilya ko, sa sarili ko. Dahil naniniwala ako na nandito tayo sa mundo para maging blessing para sa ibang tao.
Para kay Mother Earth, kasi siya yung nag-nurse sa atin, nagpaprotect sa atin. At hindi siya nagbigay na walang hindi kapalit.
Para sa passion ko, para makapag-travel at malingkot ang buong mundo.
Para ti pamilya, kaya di kita dumapay nga love ko ti life ko.
For my family. Today, bumabangon ako for my wife. And of course for my family. And also, to give myself a chance to live again.
Para sa mga pasyente ko.
Bumabangon ako para sa pamilya ko, syempre. Kasi may mga kapatid ako ang pinapaaral. Kaya pinipilit ko tuwing umaga na bumangon, magpabangon para kumita ako at may
Para sa mga anak ko.
Para sa pamilya, trabaho, para sa mga problema na
Sa kapatid ko. Para sa pagkabukas, mabangon para sa kapakanan ng lahat, para sa future.
Sa aking pamilya. Para sa pamilya ko, sa mga anak ko, sa asawa ko.
Thank you for that video. And again, all you have to do to get a chance to win this voucher worth 7,000 pesos is share or post, okay, on social media. Answer the question, para saan ka babangon? Use the hashtag Rise as One and or SpiritCon 2021. And before we proceed to our next speaker, I'd love for you to watch this video. Friends, for almost 2 years, the world fell silent because of the global pandemic. And during this period, loss of lives, loss of jobs, of business opportunities, and connections has contributed to the rising numbers of people who suffer from hopelessness, helplessness, and depression. Now, the question is, how do we cope? How can we help our loved ones? Our next speaker this afternoon is a diplomat of the Philippine Board of Psychiatry and a fellow of Consultation, Licensed Psychiatry, and Philippine Psychiatric Association, and International Fellow of the American Psychiatric Association. She is also an associate professor, too, of William Quasha Memorial Center, St. Luke's College of Medicine. Currently, she is the section head psychiatry of Providence Hospital in the Medical City in Clark. She has received several recognitions in the medical field like Doctors to the Barrios program, Department of Health and Research programs in the 27th Annual Convention of the Philippine Psychiatric Association, a media personality and a life coach. Let's welcome Dr. Bernadette Manalo.
Hi, Trixie.
Hi, Doctora. How are you today?
I'm very fine, kind of busy today, and
Thank you. Yes, that's why we're very thankful for your time and your wisdom today. So, Doctora, take it away.
thank you so much, Trixie. Maybe I be allowed to share my slides. Let me see. Okay, share screen. So, how's everyone today? Okay, can you see my slides, Trixie? Can you see my slides? Um, hello. Hello.
All right.
Hello. See?
Ayan.
Yeah,
Doctora.
I think I
Can I
got
call you
lost.
Doctora Babes?
Yeah, just call me Doctor.
Is that
Doctor Ace.
okay? And then since I introduced you earlier as Doctora Manalo, so which is the correct one? Doctora Arsena.
Either both can be.
Either both. Thank you. Marco. Whoopsie. All right.
Yeah,
So,
Doctor Ace is better, I think, because
okay, Doctora Babes. Thank
people
you.
don't feel like intimidated with a doctor if kind of a first name, right?
But
Uh,
yes, go ahead, but we are fixed. We will be presenting your slides. It will be from
yeah,
our part. So
yeah.
let's just
Yeah,
give them a few seconds.
sure. So, Trixie, I'm very, very glad to be a part of this. And, one of the advocacy that I have is really to tell people that there is hope despite being not okay or
Yeah.
feeling not okay at this point in time. It's just that researchers say that there are a lot of young being depressed, and those who, of course, lost their jobs, or all people who have big changes in their life. Trixie.
Correct, Dr. Babes. That's why we're very grateful. We know how busy you are. Thank you so much for being the light for us
Oh, thank you so
tonight,
much.
this afternoon.
It's my pleasure,
And you know what,
Trixie.
Doctora, my when I was reading your introduction, what I was really looking forward to is, yeah, how can we help? How can I help my loved ones? You know, those who
Yeah,
are obviously suffering from depression or sadness, ganyan. But then you don't know
yeah,
how. Like, there are different kinds of
yes,
people, tama po, those who are aware and who are
yeah,
asking for help, and those who
yes,
are not. But there you
yes.
go. So
Here, I prepared some slides, Trixie, where it's very simple to understand, and I'm going to explain more later on. I'm very happy though, doing things outside my box. Right now, I'm in St. Luke's, Quezon City, but I told myself, oh, I'm gonna stay here for a while and share moments with you in the Spirit Conference. So
thank
here,
you. So you
yeah,
have your slides now, Doctora. Take it
yes,
away.
yes, yes, yes. So this is I think I like the title so much because rising up from depression is really something we do. Okay, next slide. When you say depression, ano ba siya, no? What is this? I do believe that there are a lot of stigma attached to depression. What is depression in Tagalog? It is matinding kalungkutan, no? And mind you, there are a lot of cultural beliefs attached to it. Diba, when somebody's depressed or when one is kind of not normal, some family members would hide an autistic child. Yung iba naman, di ba, when you see in TV and in media that other patients or family members were placed in chains, no, or they're stuck up in a room wherein people they could not go out. Okay, so there are actually misconceptions na ay mahina or it is a weakness of the character of the person. Next slide. So I know that there are a lot of stigma attached of it on it, and also there are also a lot of beliefs, no? Parang may mga pamahiin, something like if you do something bad, then we term it as in Ilonggo, it's gaba or parang you're cursed already, no? And there are a lot of problems. Like for example, financial problems can be attributed to some faults of the family members. Next slide. So at times, your barkada will tell you, oh, wala yan. Ano ba, mahina ka? Or you can snap out of it. Or you're so weak. So some family members would tell you, or that they are so weak, they are so down, they're not like the other sister who is good enough. So comparison, low self-esteem during childhood, yung treated unfairly can also be one factor, or a feeling that I'm not good enough. No? So in a family profile, there are a lot of problems that arise, meaning to say, there are problems in dealing with issues. Di ba, meron tayong tinatawag na sibling rivalry, or si ate is the best and I'm not, or kuya is somebody who is so popular in school. So this depressed patient may have some problems with their self-identity, their self-esteem is very mababa, no? And plus the fact that they feel that hindi sila karapat-dapat or they're not worthy. Okay, next slide. Okay, perhaps these are some questions that you wanted to know, but you're afraid to ask. Okay. One of the questions that they would ask at times is, I am moody. Is this abnormal? Okay. Actually, the moody symptoms are a part of a mood problem. However, there are some issues that you have to deal with in the therapy so that you will see if it is really abnormal or normal lang siya. Usually, for women, if you have your menstrual cycle, some may have experiences of being temperamental a few days prior to their menses. So, we dig into symptoms like, is it every month ba? Are there things that, happen or triggered? All right. Second question can be, they say I am overreacting. I feel they do not understand me. So these are usually the common statements coming from my patients na parang nag-aarte lang daw ako, or I am just getting the attention of the family, but I do not. So they feel bad about it. Or they would say or ask me, Doktora, nababaliw na ba ako? Am I? Something like that. So we'll answer that later on. Next slide. So I know that depression is kind of a very vast type of disorder. At times people would say, oh, baliw ka, or natamaan ka ng bait, or loko-loko, or buang. Okay, in other dialects. Next slide. But studies would say that if there is one family member who has the depression, then there is a genetic predisposition towards it. So, halimbawa, no, the father has depression. So, chances of 25 to 50% of the children may have that. If the nanay and the tatay, or the mother and the father, have depressive episodes, then the chances of 50 to 75% nandyan talaga yan. Okay? And have you noticed that when there are suicides of very prominent and famous actors, actresses, politicians, or we may say that a very influential person died of suicide, we have what we term as copycat suicide. So some of them might kind of mimic the depressive tone by also hurting themselves. So that's why when you have the news, no, being done by this, we would usually advise them to really make the wordings very exact and precise, but not demeaning or depressing. Okay. Um, Here I mentioned about bullying because there are a lot of children and teenagers or millennials having depressive episodes because of bullying. And mind you, hindi lang siya sa classroom, no? Since right now, all of the studies are through online. So there are also bullying uh, in the cyber world, meaning to say, bullying can be in the form of bashing, can be, in Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. So we usually would advise these patients of ours to detox themselves from the social media. Next slide. So here we just have to know the symptoms, and the slides a while ago were very, very exact about the symptoms of depression, but I will try to discuss it later with all the symptomatology of the depressive episodes. Okay, once person express themselves or would verbalize that they are depressed, they should not be left alone. And at times, just the presence of a friend or a family member, somebody very influential to that person, can help. Again, I say it can only help, but you need also to bring the patient to an expert, because when there is the presence of the symptoms of depression, especially if there are suicidal acts, no, or some form of verbalizations na gusto nila magpakamatay, then that needs immediate intervention in order to save the patient. However, I'd like to tell you something, um, my dear friends. If that person doesn't say anything, but you see that they secluded themselves, they don't function much anymore, they try to withdraw uh, from the family members and friends, then you have also to be beware. Or at times they would hint like, okay, can you take care of my pet? Can you take care of my cat? Something like that. So at times you would laugh it also. Ano ka ba? Diba? That's not true. But then, these are actually symptoms already. Some patients may have plans already of hurting themselves. That's why, ang nangyayari is that nobody knows. And then you would be, parang nagulat ka, oh my God, why did she kill or, hurt herself? No? Actually, it's planned already. So that's the most difficult one if the suicidal plan is being acted upon without anybody knowing it. Okay? Next slide. So, there are actually on the DSM-5 diagnosis, meaning to say ito yung parang Biblia namin sa psychiatry, there are two important symptoms that you need to know. And these are depressive mood that would last for 2 weeks or more. No? So, kung mga 3 days lang yan, 5 days lang yan, maybe it's just starting, no? But it's still not a depressive disorder. It becomes a depressive disorder when it's 2 weeks, na tuloy-tuloy and repetitive, and every minute, every hour of the day. Okay? And the second symptom that is very important is the loss of interest or pleasure. It's just like nawawalan ka ng gana maglakwatsa. Although I know for now we cannot go and do our lakwatsa because of the pandemic. But it's here wherein you lost interest already in work, in the things that you do, or like you wanted to do ballroom dancing, or in the house, of course, no? Or hindi ka na nagpe-play ng mga favorite mo na mga games. Next slide. All right. So for the other symptoms, one would be feeling of hopelessness, meaning to say parang wala ng pag-asa. It seems like there is no D or slight hope that you would like to have. Helplessness, you feel like wala nang tutulong sa'yo, or you feel that you and you against the world, something like that. Or feelings of worthlessness, wala na akong halaga. It's like, wala nang may gusto sa akin, wala nang nakakakita ng importansya ko sa buhay. No? And the thoughts of death, which can be in a form of thought, form of verbalization, or a form of action or attempts. Okay, next slide. So, before we go into that, I'd like to say that with regards to suicidality, when we say nagve-verbalize lang siya, he would say, okay, gusto ko magpakamatay. Something like that. But if there's no plan, then parang it's easier for them to be treated. However, if there are already several attempts like slashing of the wrist, no, or they overdose themselves repetitively, then that means to say, ano na siya, parang it needs really immediate intervention. And at times, patients are advised to be placed in a facility to really be treated with medications and therapy. All right, so depression is actually an illness. Sakit siya. Just like any medical illnesses, like if you have diabetes, if you have hypertension, ganun din yung depression. Yun nga lang, because of the stigma attached to it, para siyang nahihiwalay. No? And that's where my advocacy is strong, that depression is something wherein it can be treated. It is very possible to live your life again if treatment is being done at the early stage of the illness. Okay? So, there are also medications that are available, and that I would really advise the patient kung may mga naiisip, or when you see your family loved ones, like what Trixie said a while ago, how can I treat my family member? how can I help them? How can I deal with them? At times, honestly, family members would feel so helpless. Sabi nila, how can we help him if he doesn't want to help himself, no? So that's where your judgment is very important, that the family member should be there for the patient. Kasi anytime yan, gagawin din talaga nila. If you remember, there are some patients also who became so helpless, like merong mga hostage taking na they really wanted to die na. Those are the things wherein they can risk their lives and don't give any, thought about dying. Okay? Next slide. So, we can combat it naman. There are medications that can help, and there are also treatment modalities that we can do. Next slide. So, as I've said, it's not very impossible. You can actually live your life better. So, here I address some common questions that the common tao would ask. Like, nababaliw na ba ako? Okay. When you say nababaliw, it's more of you are becoming psychotic, meaning to say you hear voices, you feel like you are so paranoid, you feel like people are, maligning you, or people wanted to kill you. So that's the term. But of course, we do not say baliw because believe is kind of demeaning. So, hindi namin masyadong ginagamit yun. The word that we use is may problema sa pag-iisip, which is kinder, softer. Okay? Number 2 question is, namamana ba ito? Of course, for just like other medical illnesses also, namamana siya. That's why it is very important that the early detection ng sakit ay magagawa na natin kaagad. Okay. Number 3, forever na ba itong sakit ko? Okay, that's very tricky because if you do not seek treatment right away, and if you do not continue your treatment, there is a possibility that it will be on and off, no? It can be relapsing. That's why treatment is very much advised and recommended once symptoms would appear, no? Kasi alam mo, kung maagapan na siya kaagad, pwede natin talaga ma-disrupt, no, yung cycle or yung pattern ng depression. Number 4 question, hindi pa ako makakapag-asawa or makakapag-jowa or pwede ba akong makapag-love life, no? Again, if the symptoms were abated, kung nagagamot naman ang iyong mga nararamdaman, and then, of course, you have the right to be happy. You have the right to have a relationship, especially if your loved one also understands you. Okay? So, it's not too late. You can fall in love, you can be human again, you can be happy. Okay, next slide. Okay, paano ko matutulungan ng taong may depression? So, ito nga, no? How can I help a family member who is depressed? Make sure that his treatment is always being followed. Kaya naman siya eh. Actually, madami akong pasyente naging doktor, naging abogado, naging engineer, no? And they seek help, especially if they're not okay. Because it can happen every now and then. I would like to emphasize, no, if the treatment is being done rigidly and followed with good compliance to medications, alam mo, kayang-kaya yan. Okay? Okay. Paano kung ma-inlove ako sa taong may depression? Next. Of course, kung talagang mahal mo siya, syempre, you're gonna be there for him or her, and you're gonna be, you're gonna be yung light niya at the end of the tunnel. But of course, you also have to understand that at times there would be some relapsing state of the depression, especially if it's a chronic one. Okay. 7th question, pagbibigyan ko ba siya lagi? Okay. So this is also very difficult to answer. There are times wherein dahil sa kanilang sakit, parang binibaby natin sila, no? So, at times, these patients may be kind of, very dependent to people who takes care of them. So, importante lang din na bigyan din natin sila ng halaga by making them, feel that they are also functional. And eighth question, paano ko malalaman kung totoo ang suicidality niya? Paano mo ba nalaman na hindi siya nagdadrama? Okay. Again, mahirap yun. Not unless if you really know the patient very well, then makikilala mo may pattern kasi siya. Whether it is an attention-getting behavior, whether na siya ay nagdadrama lang, or kinukuha yung attention mo, or nagpapapansin lang kasi nagalit ka. Then, kung magpa-verbalize sila ng something na gusto nila magpakamatay, it's always given attention eh. Kasi there are times wherein because of their impulsivity, they would say things and then do it, no? So this happens for, I'd like to tell you something about a bipolar patient, no? When you say depressed kasi sobrang down sila. No? When you say bipolar patient, ah, hindi lang siya down, super down. Tapos hindi lang siya up, super up ang kanyang mood. So pwede silang sobrang manic or sobrang masaya. May nakita mo sobrang down sila. No? So parang wala silang in between, or some patients may have parang water na minsan up, minsan down, minsan okay lang. No? So they are so wavy. Their moods are so wavy that at times hindi mo ma-spell, ano na naman to? 'Di ba? Ano na naman gagawin ko, no? So bipolar patients are hard to deal with because of the fact that you don't know if whatever statements you're going to tell them will be good or bad enough for them. So, for patients who are bipolar, treatment is also warranted. All right. So, I think those are the very, very few questions that I placed here. And I think, sabi ko nga, ang ganda ng topic because rising up on depression is really something that is difficult to do, but it is possible to do. Meaning to say na kahit sino na nalulungkot, there's still hope. No, I would like to lift them up. Meaning to say, when you are depressed, that means to say you are human. When you feel like you're not good enough, that means to say that you are already, on the jumpy side of success. All right. When you feel so low, it means to say that you have problems of trying to deal with life, but it's just fine. And as a human being, we will have this kind of ups and downs. There are a lot of storms, no, in our journey. And I say our journey in this world is something we're in. We just have to do something right. We just have to help people. We just have to inspire. And with that, we have to feel blessed and be grateful. So I think that's my last slide. So, to everyone here, tapos na yata. Yun. As what I said, may pag-asa pa, laban lang, hindi pa huli ang lahat. And I would like to tell you, kaya natin to. Thank you so much. Salamat. Trixie,
Thank
I'm
you very
done.
much. Thank you very much, Dr. Babe. Salamat po sa inyong share ng mga impormasyon, sa inyong wisdom, sa inyong time. We have a 10-minute Q&A with you in a bit.
Sure.
We'll just have to show this short commercial.
Okay.
Thank you. So friends, if you have questions, start typing them down in the comment area. Or probably we can go with the Q&A. Oh, there you go. And we are back with Doctora Babes. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, we have about 10 minutes for this Q&A. I'd love to start off by asking you, Doctora, what would be the certain parameters for us to know if we are just really very sad or we are bordering, depression? Ay, Doctora, please unmute. Ayan po.
Oh my God,
Salamat.
why did I mute myself? Anyhow, you mentioned about what are the parameters. There are just two: being sad and losing interest for 14 days or more. Tuloy-tuloy
Okay,
siya, Trixie, ah. Hindi yung ngayon, araw, okay, tomorrow,
I
hindi
see.
okay. No, it's not like that. It's tuloy-tuloy, no? Very straight, uh, 2 week period of feeling sad and depressed. Not only that, no, you feel like the things that you do before, wala nang halaga, no? Even, texting, you don't like anymore. It's like just want to lie in bed. And when you wake up in the morning, you feel like, oh, it's morning again. Just wanted to, and you have no energy actually. Parang low bat. And then
Yes.
you see gray, black, white colors. You don't see the
Oh,
reds. You don't see the orange. You don't see the colorful sky. No, you don't see that. All you see are black. Kasi before, I asked some of the young, oh, what colors do you associate depression? Yun ang sabi nila, they associate gray and black. Ganun talaga. Or dull colors, no?
so
So
it's
at
like
times,
so
yeah,
parang doktora, talagang kahit nasa may sky dyan, nakita mo yung red and orange there, parang hindi siya pansin.
you don't see the flowers.
Y- parang wala yung attention mo doon at anyway. Talagang, is that how you mean?
Yeah, yeah, it's like you're just focused on parang ano, parang yung feeling mo na parang nakayuko ka lang. Tapos you feel so miserable. You're thinking
I
about
see.
your miseries. That's it. Even though you are in a garden of beautiful flowers, you don't see it. What you see are
Yeah,
just your problems. So parang, hindi mo
I
nakikita
see.
yun eh.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. I think the operative word for that is yung tuloy-tuloy na at least two
Yeah.
weeks.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, Doctor, we have about 3 questions right here. So, JL is asking, pwede po ba magsabay ang anxiety at depression?
Yeah.
Yes.
Anxiety and
Okay.
depression go hand in hand. Um, at times you feel anxious that you couldn't function anymore. You feel worried na kasi low bat ka talaga eh. So when it comes to working, parang hindi mo na siya kayang gawin. And that's why you feel very anxious. Or may iba din ng mga pasyente that they just feel very anxious, like they become panicky. I see that, Trixie, with my COVID patients. No? They feel very anxious na, the air hanger, kahit na okay na sila, kahit na normal ng mga oxygen nila, they have this air hanger. And that's a sign of
Mhm.
anxiety na baka magka-COVID sila ulit.
Oh, okay. Yes, I've heard about that. Like the tama ba, after
Yeah,
effect of COVID.
yes.
Yes. Doctor, another question from Angelita is, does menopause have also something to do with depression? Are they
Wow,
correlated? Ganyan.
that's a good question. Well, when you are in the menopausal stage, nawawala na yung beauty hormones mo. Or
Oh,
the estrogen hormones like me. I'm menopause already, Trixie.
hindi pa
Parang gano'n.
go ahead. Okay.
Okay, tinatawanan na lang, no? Okay. Um, the when menopause comes in, the irritability and the moody parts of the problems with the hormones na maapektuhan ng babae during the time na papunta na ng menopause. Kasi wala ng beauty hormones, wala ng collagen, wala ng everything. So, if you have a very poor concept about yourself, you will feel kind of low and depressed, no? There are studies that show na pag meron kang dissatisfaction with life, hindi ka happy with your life before the menopausal stage, there would also be episodes of depression when you become menopausal already. So it goes hand in hand.
Kaya pala,
So
very important, no? As soon as you get to understand more about life and happiness and then apply it right away. Para wala
yeah,
nang,
yeah.
you don't bring it with you when you grow old.
Yeah, Trixie,
Yes.
young as you are, I would advise young people like you to, ano lang, tuloy lang, laban lang,
Yes.
don't feel scared to fulfill your dreams, no matter how hard it is, no matter how steep or how difficult the climb is when you study, go ahead. My kid, I told her, kasi she said, Ma, it's so difficult ang medicine. That's just this one question I told her. Will you be happy not being a doctor?
Yeah.
And she said, no. Well, then you do it. Despite the,
Correct.
wala na siya natanong, di ba?
Despite
If
the
you're
hardships.
happy, if you're happy
Yes.
with what you're doing, then do it.
Correct.
Don't
Thank you,
delay.
Doctor.
Don't delay.
Yeah, don't delay. Bawal. Okay. I just don't know the name. It says Facebook user. So let me
Uh-huh.
just share quickly.
Wow.
Ako po ay nagkaroon ng depression at naging epektibo po na nakatulong sa akin ang mga taong positibo, mga taong nagbibigay ng words of wisdom at inspirational messages. Merong empathy at good heart. So, yan. Maganda yung may mga nakikinig sa'yo at mag-spend ng time at atensyon para kausapin ka. So that was her experience. Thank you for sharing. Thank
Yes.
you.
And the social interaction with people uh, truly helps. But gusto ko lang sabihin, Trixie, if the symptoms are already marked, no,
Mhm.
then it is really highly advisable for treatment to be done.
Yes, I understand. And I believe, Dr. Babes, there are a lot of websites or teleconsults that are actually free. Tama
Yeah.
po, these days.
Yes.
So, yeah.
In
And,
our country, madami naman mga online, no, na pwedeng tumulong, especially with our government hospitals. So, don't be desperate, no? There are a lot of free consultations in our government hospitals. So, huwag kayo matakot magpatingin. Hindi yan kahinaan. Actually,
oh,
katibayan
no.
lang ng loob yun.
Tama po, I agree. 100%. Correct. And okay, before we move forward to our last question, Doctora, I would like to think, oh, there's another question. Does any life transformation event, such as menopause and midlife crisis, trigger depression? I would say yes, according to what Doctora Babes said, no? Tama po, it depends on how you see life. How do you,
Um, Kasi there are studies that say na kung hindi ka masaya o hindi ka
Mhm.
contented sa buhay mo before, or alam mo yung madami kang unresolved issues that you were not
Issues,
able
yes.
to deal with, or things na parang hindi mo na fulfill, and then a lot of regrets in your life. Then since bumababa din ang hormones mo, that also spells also problems in dealing with that, no? With your
Mhm.
hormones, plus the fact that you are not happy with your life.
Correct po. It highlights those things.
Sort
So,
of, yeah.
mhm. Thank you, Dr. Babes. Okay, last question. Let me see. What if the person from Jean John Paulo, what if the person is diverting his or her depression through drug abuse? How can we convince them to stop?
Mm. That means to say that they really need help. Um,
Professional help.
yeah, because so once you get addicted to substance, it's kind of hard to control it.
Yeah.
Tutuloy talaga yon. So, I would recommend rehabilitation if that person already is destroying or ruining his life and also his family. Then better to save him by admitting him in a rehab center to change his life.
Thank you. Different issues altogether. Thank you very much, Dr. Bibs Arsena, and say to all of you who's been watching with us, thank you very, very much. Doctora, any where would Where can we get in touch with you?
Yes, I'm just here in St. Luke's, Quezon City and Global. And then I'm also at Medical City, Angeles. So catch me
Wonderful.
there. And also, I am the psychiatrist of the Bridges of Hope Rehabilitation Center.
Wonderful. Just Google her name. I'm pretty sure you would see right away. Thank you very much, Dr. Bibs Arsena.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
See you around,
Bye.
Dr. And as
See
for
ya,
our friends,
Trixie.
thank you. Nice meeting you po.
Thank you
For
so much.
There you go. You see, right there, those are the details for Dr. Arsena. And now, ladies and gentlemen, before we move forward to our next speaker, we'd love to give you this another song from Renzo. See you in a bit.